The government's relentless drive to push forward with controversial reforms to the disability benefits system in the UK stands as a glaring testament to its disregard for the most vulnerable members of society. Despite years of scrutiny, criticism, and failure in the administration of disability benefits, the Department for Work and Pensions, DWP, continues to operate under the misguided notion that cost-cutting is more important than the welfare of individuals who rely on these benefits to survive. The recent ruling by the High Court, which declared the DWP's consultation on proposed disability benefit reforms to be unlawful, is a rare moment of justice in a political system that far too often prioritizes savings over human dignity. However, it should be clear to all that while this ruling provides temporary relief, it is only a small victory in an ongoing battle. The reforms, which aim to overhaul the limited capability for work (LCW) component of universal credit, would have had devastating consequences for individuals with long-term health conditions and disabilities. The LCW component is a lifeline for many, providing essential financial support to those who are often unable to work due to chronic illnesses. The government's justification for these changes was a supposed desire to streamline the system and encourage disabled individuals to voluntarily seek employment support. But let's be clear, the real motive was always to cut costs at the expense of the disabled community. The proposed elimination of the Work Capability Assessment, WCA, was not an act of compassion. It was a calculated move designed to reduce the number of individuals qualifying for benefits. The government did not need to hide behind vague promises of better employment support. The facts were laid bare. They wanted to save billions of pounds. This is not a new approach for the DWP, which has faced repeated failures in handling disability benefits. From flawed assessments that left people without necessary support to arbitrary cuts that sent individuals into financial ruin, the DWP's record on disability benefits has been nothing short of abysmal. And yet, the government continues to push forward with these policies, seemingly indifferent to the real-world consequences for those who are affected. In this context, the High Court's ruling against the government's consultation process is a reminder that, while the DWP may try to disguise its motives, the public sees through the facade. The court found that the consultation process was misleading, unfair, and failed to disclose the significant financial losses that would have been inflicted upon disabled individuals. This ruling is a wake-up call, one that underscores just how far the government is willing to go in order to justify its damaging policies. Critics of the government's plans have long argued that the reforms were nothing more than a thinly veiled attempt to make it harder for people to access support, forcing them into employment they may not be able to handle due to their health conditions. The removal of the WCA would have disproportionately impacted those with the most severe disabilities, stripping them of the financial support they desperately need. But the government's consultation, which was so flawed it was ruled unlawful, never fully acknowledged these realities. Instead, it presented a misleading narrative, painting the reforms as a means to help disabled people access employment opportunities. This was nothing more than a political smokescreen designed to mask the true intention, cutting costs by denying support to those who need it most. The High Court's decision to halt the reforms, at least temporarily, is a victory, but it is not enough. The government will likely attempt to revise its proposals and reintroduce them in a more palatable form. And while this ruling is undoubtedly a significant step forward, it should not lull anyone into complacency. Disabled individuals and their advocates must remain vigilant, continue to engage with the policymaking process, and push for real change. The government must be held accountable, and its proposals scrutinized at every stage. The battle is not over, far from it. But this ruling is a reminder of the power of activism and the importance of standing up against policies that harm the most vulnerable members of society. It is time to ask some hard questions. Why does the government continually target disability benefits, as though the disabled community is an easy scapegoat for budget cuts? Why does the DWP operate under the assumption that cost-cutting measures can be more important than the rights of disabled people to live with dignity and support? And, perhaps most importantly, why does the government believe it can make sweeping changes to the benefit system without fully engaging with the people who would be most affected? The fact is, the DWP's actions are part of a broader trend of systemic neglect that has plagued the disability benefits system for far too long. It's a system that is overly complex, punitive, and in many cases, outright harmful. The current state of affairs demands nothing short of a radical overhaul. We need a system that is transparent, fair, and compassionate, one that recognizes the unique challenges faced by disabled individuals and provides them with the support they need to live meaningful, independent lives. This ruling should serve as a clarion call. It is a call to arms for all those who believe in justice, fairness, and equality. The government may try to rewrite the narrative, but it cannot erase the fact that it was caught red-handed trying to push through a reform that would have harmed the most vulnerable people in society. The disabled community deserves better. They deserve a benefits system that supports them, not one that pushes them further into hardship. The DWP must learn that they cannot get away with policies that prioritize saving money over the lives of real people. It's time for change, and the time to demand it is now.